And here we are, another day of streaming. Today is January 17th, 2024. It is 8 p.m. and I am here to draw for you folks. You're looking at a black screen because I'm not super great at prepping correctly, apparently. Oh, it went right up. Okay, cool. So what I would say at this point in the world, it is time to, this isn't what I was looking for. Sorry. Still working out the kinks, you know. What am I looking at here? I don't think I want to see that. No. That doesn't look right either. What service do I do? Is it that one or is it? No. It's this one. Yeah, there we go. So here we are. It is, let's get the YouTubes going. And we're going to be drawing. And I'll tell you what, folks, I have really been looking forward to doing this. I was doing things that were not mine. Oh, I wonder, how's that volume sound? Whatever. So it looks like I might need to turn up the volume a little bit. I just hate when it peaks, you know? Like it peaks and pops and, you know, we're working out the kinks, but that's okay. Well, let's see. Let's make sure we got this in the corner just in case someone wants to have a conversation. So here we are. Yesterday, I was drawing this. These characters are called Leicas. I guess generally I start the podcast off. I keep calling it a podcast. Let's just be honest. I think I just want to have something that I talk on, you know? But yeah, regardless, I am here, and this is the book so far currently called Science is Bad, the graphic novel. I think it's fair to say that this graphic novel is still going to be called Science is Bad. But here we have a character who's yet to be named, and you'll probably learn about the name of this character on this stream. So that'll be interesting. I came up with this concept of the Leicas being like bats. So that's why we have them hanging from the top here. Incredible art. I think this is the kind of stuff that would cause Michelangelo himself to faint. He would say, I can't believe this is really something that you're drawing. Oh, my goodness. Or he's Italian. So he'd be like, I cannot believe it's something that you are doing. Or something like that, right? That's a good Italian accent. I actually met somebody who was born in Italy but had dual citizenship. So he actually grew up in the United States, but knew fluent Italian. And he was a real chill kid, a younger guy. And I would do my Italian accent, and he would say, I hate your Italian accent. Because he actually knew. The closest thing I know to an Italian accent is, it's me, Mario. That's the accent that I kind of rock into, you know? It's me, Mario. Oh, Mario, help me in my quest for making this book. So then we have these ones. Oh, maybe it would be good to do some freaking out cats, huh? That could be fun. And I am ready for things to have some fun. I guess if I am going to do a whole hour thing, I should do some sort of ad read at some point. But I didn't want to do any ad reads or anything like that until I really felt confident about being able to create something that was worth something. So I didn't want to just fill it in just because. So right now, we're still working out the kinks, and it's really not necessary to put any sort of ads. And the ads would just like be of stuff that I'm working on. So it's not even that crazy. It's me, Mario. So here we are with some plagued on Kikis. And let's drop this down here, Kiki. You drop that down right there, Kiki. Yeah, drop that down right there. Yeah, we do that right there. So then you go ahead and you give them the eye. Wham. 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 Just a little, you know, cats are fun, man. I am so sold on getting a cat. There's a cat that's available in Indiana, which is the adjacent state to Illinois, which is where I happen to be right now in the state of Illinois. But I'll tell you one thing, folks, this winter has really made me consider going somewhere else. So, there's not really much keeping me here. I mean, my job's here for now. I mean, it's a good job, but it's also like most good jobs, it's not guaranteed by any means. So what if they're kind of losing it? So I would consider actually going somewhere else. I'm not really sure exactly where, but I would consider somewhere. Maybe somewhere like, oh gosh, where would I go? California's too expensive. It would be so hard. Like maybe somewhere where leaving Chicago actually is like the cost of living comes down, so then I can actually upgrade my life. Spent a lot of time downgrading my life over and over again. It gets exhausting. Granted, I spent a lot of time in school, so and handling that whole shebang, going to school without a guaranteed, pay or anything like that, like a scholarship or something. I did get some scholarships though, so it's not all bad, and there were some grants and things like that, so I can't get too bad into it. I mean, that's the reason why I was able to finish school. But let me tell you something. This is a ruthless town. Step by step, it is ruthless, and it's not. I was going to say not by design. I don't think it's by design. I think it's by necessity. I think that's just how life is. As a modest Ohio boy, Ohioans will roll over for you, and I kind of grew up that way. I kind of grew up in this very rollover. Like, it's, what I learned about, and I actually realized today that I learned this, which was that when you're dealing with someone, maybe like a lady, who's, you don't know very much, you haven't really been engaging her very much, but she becomes really, like, I don't even know what the word is, like, very difficult. Let's give that one a shot. She's very difficult, right? Like, very, like, I guess combative. I used to really dislike those people, and then I had an epiphany today, and I realized something like those people are the people who need friendship and need kindness more than anyone. It's like small dogs bark the loudest. You know what I mean? Because they know you're bigger. So they have to make the first move. And that made me realize that, some of these people who are really mean, how old am I? Am I 6 years old? They're really mean to be. No, but just like people who are really harsh right off the front end, they're probably dealing with something. And when you run into these people, I would encourage you, I mean, obviously you got to do what's best by you, but if anything, have empathy for those people. They're generally going through something where their perspective on life might be really, really hard because of, the way things have been for them. So my point is, though, if you're dealing with a lady as such, it's not that big a deal, I guess, basically is one way. I have some stuff going on in my head, but I'm not going to say it out loud. It's the kind of stuff I would need some bros to bounce it off of. I've always wanted to do a podcast with some bros, but it's really tough to find. A lot of my bros, I got some bros that are like kind of very powerful personalities like me. And then I have which is kind of like competitive to my personality. And then I have bros that are just like autistic dudes who like don't talk at all. Unless you get them going on a certain topic. And that's kind of my style of things. I mean, I don't know exactly why, but it's just, I think it's a mixture between a couple different things. Like I was one of my friends refers to me as a bro nerd because I played football, but I also had like a band, and I was also, in a multitude of like chess club and Japanese club, and I was a thespian, and I did theater, but I also wrestled. I was very, very active in high school, and I'm really thankful for that because, I want to say I only get about an hour and a half between work and this stream, and it doesn't really bother me. Granted, I do have very little time for anything. I play a little bit of Fortnite after this, which, I mean, let's just be honest. I should probably just stream that on Twitch too. And then you guys can know how dominant I really am. Just kind of working these cats. I like the idea that before they're infected, they're beautiful. So I kind of try to keep that. And then when they when they get infected, they kind of turn into this weird, silly thing. I'm pretty excited, so today I talked to one of my colleagues who is a big time sales guy in the world of retail, very familiar with talking to buyers from Walmart. I just say Walmart. Walmart, actually, I saw some numbers this morning. Actually, I'm a big, I'll never stream about this, and I don't really want to talk about it too much, but I'm a huge, not a huge, but like, I'm a pretty big finance guy. I like that stuff a lot. It's really interesting to me. I look at capitalism like a game. And I know that sometimes on the stream, money becomes a conversation, and I'd like to limit that. I don't really think that that's what this is for. But when you're, rubbing nickels together, you're always game planning, so it stays on your mind and therefore stays on the tip of your lip. Is that a saying? The tip of your lip? I don't know if that's a saying. On the tip of your lip. I don't think that's going to translate well publicly. I've always been one of those people who is like, I don't care what other people think. I don't believe it. And as if that matters. I will say, like, if there was one thing the younger version of me should have understood a little bit better, would have been that other people matter. As weird as that sounds, but like, if the public believes a thing, like, for example, I'm just accepting the fact that there are people who are anti-vax, and I'm pro-vax. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, so I really can't debate the concept, but I have decided that if you're wearing a white jacket and you're a doctor and you specifically feel that, these things are important, then I'm going to rock with you. Ooh, this is probably something that'll get me a strike, right? You're not allowed to talk about stuff like this. Who knows? Anyway, my point is that I would kind of just have my own world about things, and if other people, like, I don't know, I almost feel like I discredited other people's experiences because they weren't mine, and that's a really myopic way of looking at the world. It's a very self-consumed way of looking at the world, and I've been thinking for a while that, I'm not exactly where I want to be in life. I mean, I'm fine, right? I'm fine. But I have to really admit that, there have been some avenues open for me, and I didn't ride through those avenues. I mean, there's opportunities, and I didn't take those opportunities, and I could reflect on why that is, and I think I have a pretty good understanding for why. But rather, I think it's that I don't want to say like lack empathy, like I'm some sort of sociopath or something, but I think it's more like that I have so much trouble kind of figuring myself out that I don't really have time to pay attention to other people. And I realize that things will be better for you, the exterior of your body, if you take care of the exterior, not your physical body, but like the people around you, the things around you. You know what I mean? Like, don't save the best version of yourself until you're in the room with people that you think, you want to get to know better. Be that person all the time. If you want to meet a lady, you should talk to any particular potential mate with the same level of enthusiasm and interest, even if deep down this isn't really going to work or this isn't for you. You can still treat people really well, and you can flirt and have engagements that are pro-human, really. All right, let's get another cat over here. I like these twirly eyes. No. So I had a really interesting conversation with a colleague today, and he gave me some really interesting. He didn't know. I told him about the stream. I was like, I'm going to go home and stream. You don't know this about me, but I'm actually a graphic novelist, and I'm working on another graphic novel. And he was like, I was like, what does it take for me to get into Walmart? And he was basically like, I don't think you should go to Walmart yet. You don't have that kind of reach. He goes, the first thing I would do is try to get in every comic book shop in Chicago. I was like, done. And then from there, we had a pretty good conversation. I think he was just kind of like, whoa, this guy is really about his business. I mean, I think the thing that holds a lot of people back, especially creative people, is creative people are generally introverts. And so they don't really put themselves out there. And oftentimes really talented people lose out to just people who out hustle them. And whether or not that's the way the universe should work, it's not. That's kind of goes back to what I was saying previously, which is it doesn't matter what you think the universe should be. I would say, okay, so let me say it this way. I like having conversations this way. Nobody can interrupt me or try to talk about what they care about. Oh my God, is there anything more annoying? It's just about me. No, my point is, like, growing up, I was an idealist. And in my heart, I'm still an idealist. But to be successful, you have to be pragmatic. You have to look at the reality of the world and then function accordingly. And what a lot of creative people do is they function as idealists because they believe that the world should change. And they're going to be the change that the world needs. And it's a beautiful, poetic way to function. And I've been doing it pretty much my entire existence until about maybe, when did my pragmatism start? Probably 2021, really. I think I was kind of flirting with the idea back in 2016. And then escalated it a little bit in 2018. And then I think in 2021, I realized it was just, that the idealism just wasn't working. And it was time to be pragmatic and look at the world, reflect on the world, and in the ways that it required, mimic it. Specifically, like for looking for a job and the whole process of looking for a job and how corporate America works and stuff. So, I would say that traditionally I'm a little bit behind in that sense, but, the one thing it's not like I just sat around this whole time. I've been developing my skills. If you can't tell by these cat drawings, if you can't tell by these stunning Picasso-esque cat drawings before you. So, there we are. Last night I was doing some funny voices with a little bit of cartoon stuff. That was kind of funny. But I had to go to bed, and I still went to sleep late. But I got about maybe 6 or 6.5 hours of sleep. I will say I am continuously using this right arm. Like, I'm really worried about my right arm. I should probably take a break at some point. I don't know when. Or the pain might actually be from just relentlessly using it. I just have to build up the strength. That might be part of it. I like when characters put their hands near their mouth. That's like a very humanistic behavior, I think. Toddlers do that a lot. I think we all kind of have oral fixations. Is it that we really have oral fixations, or is the oral aspect of our existence just a fundamental part of it? And it's not. I don't really want to have sex with my mom, Sigmund Freud. I always thought about that. Like when you learn about that, and I'm a liberal arts guy, so you learn about, Freud's perspective on that, which is basically like never mind. I'm going to change it. But I'm going to change the topic. But yeah, just this whole thing that you have these desires and those desires come from, these experiences that you had as a child, and everyone has experiences as a child, and everyone has desires and urges. And to link those two together is, I'm sure he's onto something to a certain extent. And I'm sure, you'll kind of have to be skeptical about a lot of people who are famous in their lifetime in comparison to the people who did the really hard work, and you don't really know much about them until later. Like, look at, the guy, Nikola Tesla. I follow a lot of quotes of his online, and there's a quote that comes up a lot where he says, "The present is theirs, the future is mine." So he knew he would be celebrated after his death because he knew his work was that significant, which is kind of crazy. Westinghouse had paid so much money for him to do what he did, but he was working so far in the future that Westinghouse couldn't create a profit with it. And so, it didn't really work out that well. I think he died alone in a 1-bedroom apartment. But I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, so I'm doing better than Tesla. I don't know. I guess you could say this is a 1-bedroom apartment. It's technically 2. I don't know. Does that mean I'm doing better, though? I think it kind of feeds into the same kind of thing, that consumerist perspective on life. It is nice to have more, though. it's interesting. I was talking to I talked about this yesterday on the stream. I talked to this kid that grew up in my neighborhood, and he posted a YouTube video, and he was like, probably won't get very many views. And I basically told him, like, man, don't get caught up on that stuff. And then I talked to him, and he basically goes, oh, there's an influencer bubble. You can already tell society's in the process of collapse. I mean, it just reminds me of Toledo. Just the conversations you have. I think the reason why Toledoans talk about society collapsing is because they're kind of hoping it will, because maybe when we reorder society, things will be better for them. And, they're not completely off, because I think, therefore I'm smart, I think that a lot of what happened was that the deal that President Clinton made to balance the budget in the 90s caused pretty much our entire infrastructure in the Rust Belt, which is now the Rust Belt. He sold us out. I mean, that's the reason why Trump's, one of the regions where he does really well. I don't even think it's honestly that Trump's a super great candidate or anything. I think he's just talking to a certain demographic that isn't being campaigned to. And he's capturing demographics, right? There's the people who love big show wrestling and love his antics and stuff like that. That's I feel like my brother loves the show in a sense. He gets really worked up about Trump. It's important. He's the big deal. But it's interesting. I'm watching this thing. I mean, now that this guy won the Iowa caucus, I mean, does anybody understand the implications? Does anybody? Am I the only one who understands the implications of that? No, obviously everybody understands the implications of it. Winning the Iowa caucus is basically the dress rehearsal for an election. And so, him winning that and winning it very handily probably means that he's going to have another populist move to the White House. And it's kind of interesting, because you can't, as an American, you can't get too upset about it, because you're taught and you believe that democracy is the way. Well, the establishment is not digging the current democratic system. So, and you might say, why would you bring that up while drawing this? Well, guess what? These deranged cats are actually part of a cat collective, like Giant Congress, or what's that? What do they got? Parliamentary Congress, a Senate, representatives. This would be more like ancient Greece, though, which is that just basically anybody who, in ancient Greece, anybody who could, they would have trials in arenas, and if you showed up, you were part of the jury, and so whoever was there was part of the jury. And I think a good way to indicate that was well, if you have enough time to come and watch a trial during a workday, you're probably doing all right. It's kind of like the founding fathers. The first rule was that votes were only given to people who own land. And the idea was that they were the only ones who had skin in the game because they were paying taxes. And then obviously that got expanded. And I've never owned any significant land. What's interesting? I once had land in Mississippi. As weird as that is to say, really, really cheap land. I was really young, and someone offered to sell it to me, and I bought it. And then things got really hard, and I reached out to someone in the area who I knew was kind of in that world, and said, hey man, can you give me what I put in? And the guy was like, I sure as hell can, with about a 30% reduction on that original price. And I needed the money so bad that I took it. And that's the tough part too, is you want to tell people to invest, but the question is can they get above water long enough to see their assets mature? And if you're really poor, I mean, it's kind of sad to tell really poor people to live that way, because they won't be able to pull it off. Unless they're like the Scottish and they're able to get blood out of a rock. What was it that England would give Scotland loans with really unreasonable terms, and they would like literally try to get them trapped, and they, no matter what, Scotland always paid their debts. And so they're known as a very frugal people. My buddy Charlie's from Scotland, and he would do things like, reusing boxes, and, he would use things, instead of buying a container. I remember one time I went out with this girl, and she wanted to go to the container store. And she's like, oh my God, once you get here, you're going to spend so much money. And I remember I was like a waiter at the time. So I'm like, what the fuck? Well, there's no way. This store. And I went there and everything was so expensive. Like a single tub was like $30. And I'm like, what? And the only thing I found was a drain plug, which was something I actually needed. So I spent like 50 cents. And they had it for a really good price because they probably thought, we'll lose money on the drain plug, but you're going to spend a bunch of money on other stuff. Gotcha, bitch. And I remember at the checkout and the lady kind of being like, is that it? And I was like, yep. But luckily, that girl I was with, I was in really good shape. And I think she was more into me about that way. See, if you fall out of shape and you're no longer able to provide, you're in trouble, boys. So make sure to get your push-ups in and stay healthy. Keep building up that muscle. Because if you can't trigger your lady's biology, then you better be quite the provider. I don't know why I have to have them all strung out. Just put mud all over their mouths. Just dripping down. Dripping down. Which arm goes in front of what? What if this arm goes in front? Nah, let's try it the other way. What if this arm goes in front? Yeah, that's kind of funny. Ooh, it makes them seem like drug addicts. But it's a contemporary story. We have a drug problem, and I wish I could say America, but it's not even just America. I think it's the whole world. What's kind of interesting is that Latin America actually doesn't suffer from drug affliction as much as the United States does. We just love drugs so much here. Yeah. And look at these crazy cats. Waving their arms all around. Waving your arms all around like a kiki. Like a kiki. I will say, though, folks, I have been on top of my fitness for the most part. Pretty much every single day I'm training, which is really, 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 really difficult at first. And then slowly but surely, don't call me Shirley, but slowly but surely I started getting my energy back. So that was pretty cool. And I've been doing better. I've also been like cutting down on certain vices. There's a certain vice that makes it very difficult for me to talk on the stream. And I've cut that vice. I mean, I wouldn't say I cut it, but as of recently, I've cut it. I don't know. What day is it? Day 3. Day 3 from the weed detox. Haven't been having really sweaty dreams yet. But I'm a little restless, which is crazy. I'm a snorer. I literally wake myself up with snores. I think. Something like that. Uh-oh. Starting to get into the drawing phase. I think it might be time to actually cut this one. All right, we added to this. Let's get rid of this. What do we got here? All right, some more cat stuff. Some old notes. God, those notes have to be about a year old. This is the cat that was requested. Might be able to do something with this cat later. I mean, it's not a particularly important cat. Ooh, let's get back into the Owl God. Ooh, this is going to be hard, so I'm going to turn on some tunes. Tunes, as C. Wags would say. Let's turn on some tunes. Want to hear some tunes? All right. How are we going to do this? Yeah, make this more a wardrobe decision. Maybe what I can do is drop the opacity. We'll get really get into this bad boy. Ooh. I mean, really dig into this. By dig into it, I mean redraw. Draw over the top of the previously drawn things. I'm kind of excited for this weekend. It's kind of crazy. It was like negative 12 degrees. I don't know. What's the temperature now? Hey, Siri, what's the temperature outside? Freaking Siri. Stupid freaking Siri. Oh, it's 19 degrees. Think about that. It's 19 degrees outside, and it feels nice. I can't believe it's 19 degrees. And then, yeah, tomorrow's going to hit 25. Not too bad. Man, that was a rough few days, let me tell you, folks. Winters in Chicago are brutal, but then the summers, I'd like to say, make up for it. They really do, right? Like the summers are, because this winter's been pretty mild. Let me tell you something about corporate America. They love it when you complain. Oh, bro, corporate America, they're like, please complain more. Complain to me. There's nothing a company wants more, or a colleague wants, is especially when you're new. Oh, when you're new, that's really the creme de la creme of what corporate America is about. Ooh, kind of like what I'm doing here with these feathers. Kind of getting that That's funny. All right, let's see if we can get in here and finish up this bear skin over here. Come on, bear skin. Don't get flat. Don't get flat on me. Don't give me a colic. Come on, bear skin. Fluff it up a little bit. This is really the way to do it. Can't be worried about fabric running into hair running into fabric. You're gonna have to layer it over. I have to kind of get into the owl god's eyes. Try to do something with them. Could just do all black. That works. Not bad, not bad. We're getting there. Yeah, the hair is intricate. Gotta come in here, get these highlights going. Oh yeah, the music's a good move. You know, I get into the groove a little bit and not able to fill in the airspace. I don't know, am I going to do some more for... I don't think I want to. Don't do too much on that other side. Wonder if we can do something here with this hand. I like what I did with the macro pose of the hand. These fingers. I definitely wanted to do something that wasn't humanoid, but there's a point where you kind of have to... People need to be able to... It has to make sense to people. I would say something that's different about approaching storytelling in my 30s opposed to when I was younger. I wasn't... Like, I was just kind of doing the most... I don't know, almost like the most bizarre things I could think of. And going, okay, that's what this is all about. Let's see, 2 fingers here. What if there's another finger here? He's pressing up his middle fingers. So maybe he does 2 fingers. What up, Mr. Streamer? What up, McGruff? What up, Mr. Streamer? Mr. Streamer, that is I. That'd be I. I'm the streamer. I'm the maniac. We'll take that as a confession. We'll take that as your confession. Maybe come in here. Maybe do some sort of draping, some sort of fabric or something. I'm not sure. Maybe we could try to do the whole body of this owl god. Something where he kind of floats through space. So the gods, they float through space, right? He's kind of hunched over a little bit. And he's kind of floating. And the fabric comes down more than his feet. Something like this. See, these are the kinds of decisions that AI wouldn't make. We can still outpace AI, folks. Don't get too intimidated. I mean, yeah, it's going to make certain things easier, but to be honest, a lot of really great storytelling art was almost impossible to do without incredible amounts of money. So AI will be a blessing for us. So don't get too worked up. Now, if you were cheating the whole way, you know, well, it'll help you continue to cheat, actually. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Something like this. So he's kind of like this, and he's floating. And then the deer god's right here, and he's like, listen, I got this planet here. It's a great planet. It's not too bad. You're welcome to have it. And the owl god's like, nah, bro, I'm not into that. I need to know a planet like that, bro. Take that away, bro. What? Bro, what? Whoops. How'd I end up on a white? Oh, no, this was all drawn on white. Ooh, that's no good. Man, I was having an issue with Photoshop today. Oh, shoot. There's a bunch of stuff on there. Nothing too crazy, though. I would like to keep some of this. Let's keep this portion. The rest of it we can go without. There we go. Wonder if we can get this white out. There we go. It'd be rough, but we'll work through it. So yeah, let's drop this for a second and kind of bring this scene over. you have the deer god over here going, hey, check this planet out that I got. And he's like, check this out. I got this planet here. It could be all yours. The Owl God's like, what? Like, why would I freaking want that? Freaking what? And then the deer god's like, check this out. Check it out. Just check it out. Come on, check it out. So there's deities in this story. I'm not sure if this is the best salesman pose. I think the deer god's also got a cloak on him. I'll have to look at some of the old stuff. This might be able to be done in a few panels, like a spread, just two pages. Some large drawings, do some real detailed stuff. All right, well, that's not an amazing drawing by any means, but it gets the details out. All right, where are we at here? There's got to be another one we can dive into. Oh, let's go back to the Leicas. Sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry. Sorry. Nope, that's different. Dum. They're all wrapped up like little bats. Little bats. No. I'm not really... I don't know. Ooh, I wonder if I draw them right side up. That might help. Ooh, I'm a little excited about this. How's this going to turn out? Yeah, not too bad. That's a good idea. It might make more sense for the way I draw it. Well, because it would be really dark, right? Right? Nobody? It is a bit strange just talking into a mic by myself. But when you're strange, faces come out in the rain. And how are we going to texture these bad boys up? It's interesting because it's in the cave, which means it's going to be really dark. So I might actually have to come in here and do a lot of texturing. But you know what might be more productive than just jumping into the texturing would be to get some more panels out. So maybe there's a panel where one of them opens their eyes. Or maybe one of them falls down. Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Ow. I need to do some stretching. Ow. I need to do some stretching. And then jump into this. And then what? He would land like this with his little tush in the air. There you go. You know, it's kind of interesting. Building Conformity Farm makes me want to just quit my job and just do this all the time. I mean, really, there is enough to Conformity Farm to pull it off. It would be just such a trudge. And living in Chicago is so expensive. I'd be better off living in Wyoming or something. But even that, I think, would have some sort of, like, there would be a lot of limitations to it. Like, a lot of the expansion of Conformity Farm will probably come through the relationships that I make here in the city. I just got to keep my eyes peeled like a banana. Like a nanner. And, yeah, those opportunities will come. Opportunity favors those who are prepared. Prepared. Or opportunity meeting those who are prepared. What's the saying? I don't know what the saying is. Preparation plus opportunity. I don't know. You know, after listening to Cat Williams talk, I don't really know anything anymore. Seems like Cat Williams is kind of teaching us that there is an Illuminati. It's kind of interesting. I always thought that there wasn't. I once met a guy in my hometown of Toledo. I met a guy at a local bar, and we're just chatting. And we actually hit it off really well, having a good conversation. And then the conversation about the Illuminati came up, and I go, oh, yeah, no, that stuff's all bullshit. That's not real. And he shows me that he's got a full back tattoo with like an owl and all the symbolism of the Illuminati. And the guy sitting next to him was very like, oh, I know about that stuff. And the guy started talking to him, and I tried to engage him again. Now, remember, we had already established like a really wildly friendly rapport. But after I told him, I was like, nah, that stuff's stupid. He basically was like, don't ever fucking talk to me again. Which is pretty harsh. But then when you realize like the significance of a tattoo like that, like he's like, bro, look at this. Also, why is that on your back? I mean, even if there is Illuminati, I mean, I don't know. What's the equivalent? Like, what's something I could get on my back that's like, I'm going to get, I don't even know. Did you know that most of the resources are owned by 6 corporations, and I just have a tattoo on my back of like Nestle and PepsiCo and stuff like that on my back? And it's got a web that shows all the companies that they own. And I was like, you don't think there's monopolies? Don't talk to me, bro. I was wondering if I was going to say something funny. I mean, it's not wildly funny, but it's not that bad. If I had a tattoo of like all the monopolies in America and then just like splintered off all the companies that they own, all the subsidiaries, this is really, they're just companies that they're tired of competing with. So they're like, all right, instead of competing with them, we're going to control you by acquiring you. And since we live in a time of crony capitalism, we're just going to go ahead and make this happen. I mean, almost not, though. Wasn't there a company that tried to merge not too long ago and the courts didn't allow them? That's going to be a tough fight to become a monopoly. That must be very frustrating for some of these really, really large companies. They get told, though, I know that Facebook tried to come up with its own cryptocurrency or its own internal currency for its website. And Mark Zuckerberg actually talked to Congress about it. And they were basically like, no, bro. No. And he dropped that shit. But outside of TikTok, I mean, Facebook is definitely dominating. I've started working in social media. And between Instagram, Facebook, and Threads, I mean, Instagram might be one of the finest acquisitions ever. Because that really is maybe the best social media in my opinion. At least the way it started. I remember really loving Instagram. I got an iPhone 4S. That was my first smartphone. It was after Steve Jobs died. And I was like, all right, they're not going to get any better. Might as well check this whole thing out. And I got an iPhone 4S. And I started downloading apps because, I didn't even know why I even got the dang thing. I mean, outside of I can browse the internet and there's a map. I mean, honestly, the map's probably the biggest one. And I downloaded this little app called Instagram, and I remember loving it. And back then, all you really did was just show off how nice the iPhone photography was. So you could have just taken close-up pictures of flower petals, and people would have liked it. And then they introduced hashtags, and so there was a little bit of expansion there. And now Instagram is just a whole different beast unto itself. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Instagram's probably the app outside of email and the browser. Instagram's something that I use a lot. Me. It's my stream. So I'll talk about it'd be kind of interesting. It'd be nice if I just had things I wanted to talk about and I just held them in. And then came to my tablet with my list and was like, oh, talk about this. Oh, talk about this. I mean, I'll have to do that until people start showing up to my stream. But until then, the one thing is for sure, even if I'm speaking a bunch of bullshit, which I basically am, if you just sit here silently, that's not going to help. So I'm going to have to, I wonder how long this is going to take before I'm going to have regular conversations with viewers. I guess it happens periodically. It'll take time. I'm really interested to see. I would love to. I almost said I'd love to fast forward my life a year, but I am really interested to see what my gains will be in the next year. I mean, with my current schedule and all the things that are going on in my life. I mean, as long as I keep. I mean, I will keep my nose to the grindstone and really making sure that. I'm making the employer happy, that I'm hitting the gym, that I'm taking the proper nutrition. Boy, the pandemic really threw me off when it came to nutrition. I turned into a little fat fucker. I was kind of, even before the pandemic, it was something I was kind of heading towards anyway. But now it's for sure. I mean, not now. Now I'm in pretty good shape. I mean, I thinned out a lot. You have to thin down before you bulk up. So I had to thin down first, which kind of sucks because who wants to be scrawny, be a scrawny dude. I mean, skinny dude's better than being a fat dude. A skinny dude it's actually not too bad. But, if your goal is to bulk up. All right. So I really can draw these pillows all day, huh? A pillow a day. What if I did that? Instagram mud pillows page, a pillow a day. That might be the route to go. Once this book's done, I think that might be one thing I do. I could probably do that on this stream and then schedule them ahead of time and then release a pillow a day on social media. That could be really good. That could be really, really, really freaking good. Fucking bro. What, bro? These Leicas are funny. Yeah, I think I can do the pillow a day after the series of the books is done. Because then I would know... Whoa. Someone's blowing up my social media. That's pretty interesting. We had a post not too long ago on social media that just blew up. Really well. Custom pillows could be a cool Patreon reward too. That's a really, really good point. Bro, what I was thinking is once I'm done with this series, I'm going to do something different for Conformity Farm. So it might throw a lot of my viewers off, a lot of my followers off. And I think what it's time to do is to launch a Mud Pillows page. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Patreon rewards would be good too. I think doing better rewards. I mean, that's one of the most common things that comes up for me is that the rewards thing would be really nice. Or do a monthly pillow sticker. Or have the pillow stickers be collectible. I think collectible is really the route to go. I mean, it's something that the retail world has bought into a lot. So that could work. Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. But I honestly, there's a huge backstory that's been built on this. And so I think the work just really needs to be done of building this world and then expanding the world by the end of the story so I can return to it if necessary and then build it out. I was talking to the sales guy at work and kind of talking to him about what was going on. And he was like, dude, why don't you and I strike a deal so that when you blow up, so I don't know if they would have some cash in hand. I don't imagine they would dole out cash, but the opportunity to get a portion of, or to license out portions of the IP, as McGruff would understand, the IPs are a really interesting business. I have never really gotten too caught up in the licensing world, but the thing is like there's a reason why certain stuff are in retail stores, the place where everyone goes, like licensing is the big deal in Western philosophy, Western civilization. It's what keeps, the creatives rich. Otherwise, people would just keep stealing their ideas, I feel like that still kind of happens, but, so, that IP needs to be protected. It's a tough game, though. I was thinking about the reordering of civilization, and I was thinking, like, one thing that would be good to reset society would be the fact that if a large company does any wrongdoing to me, they can bury me financially. And it's not that the legal system was built that way. It's just that's what it's... I guess maybe it was built that way. I don't know. But the legal system is just so... It feels like a game. It's more like a game than anything. It's like the most important thing. That there are more people in prison in the United States than there are in China. Like, that's a wild statistic, man. Like, come on. Bro. Oh, no. I'm being less of a pragmatist now. I'm being an idealist. No. Those prisons were built because of rule of law. Aha. I'm back. Phew. That was close. I was almost an idealist again. I don't want to do that. Don't want to be an idealist. Idealists are the kind of people who want like a free lunch. Phew, that was close. Almost became a freaking stupid idealist, bro. Bro, what? I don't even know what to say. What if he's like, huh? I like these Leicas. I mean, if anything, these weekly streams, well, tomorrow will be my last day of the weekly stream. I'll still continue to stream throughout the weekend, everybody. Don't worry, the streams will keep coming, and as long as I stay healthy, I'll be able to chatter away on the stream, staying healthy. But yeah, kind of working out what's going on with these guys. These are pillows that saw the rise of Bassa and got scared and hid inside of the caves, and their eyes got big as an evolutionary thing. Let's see. All right, so we filled up a cave. It's kind of got this 2D side scroll. I love to do 2D side scroll, but yeah, I don't know how much the world needs 2D. I think the world likes dynamic 3D. I think I like dynamic 3D. That's what I mean. So I want to get better. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is a tech tree. I'm not going to do that on stream. I'm not going to bore you guys with watching me draw a tech tree. That's nerdy stuff I'll do in my free time. But it looks like I got through most of the stuff I wanted to get through. I mean, I didn't get through it, but I worked on it significantly. So, you know, it might be good tomorrow during the stream. I think that I should panel this stuff out. Isn't there some Oliver stuff here? Oliver stuff's the really good stuff. I almost made an entire book out of that Oliver story because that Oliver story is really cool. It might be the next book in the series after this series is done. Because she's a really cool character. I like her a lot. What do we got? Owl God. Owl God again. Oh, mud pillows! More mud pillows. Oh, here's a series of panels that can be worked out. Oh, there's some more there too. I got plenty of work on here. Man, tomorrow's going to be a long day. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat the hell out of myself at the gym. And then what I'll do is I'll come here and draw as long as I can. Sleep in that there bed over there. Get up and then draw my little heart out again. Here's McGruff's kitty. No. No. Well, that is an hour of drawing. So I've yet to shower or do any of the normal human things that are essential. But I'm really proud that I've been sticking to these streams, guys. You know, I get better every time I stream. It gets a little bit easier. It makes a little more sense. I know I'm switching around here. It probably looks stupid to you. But, you know, we'll figure it out. I'm just winging it. I really am. So let's end on the dear God. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me? It is Owl God to you. All right, y'all. That's the end of the stream. It was an hour. I'm going to go wash my face. And I just want to say thanks for checking things out. If you made it this far, you're a real one. You know, consider giving to the Patreon maybe if you got some bucks. If not, I'll still keep the streams for free for now. It'll probably, honestly, if I were going to make a prediction, I have a feeling that these streams are going to be something like this for about a year. But there will be a fundamental shift in April, which is, what is it? Yeah, still got 3 months. So I've been giving myself 3 months to do this book, which is more than enough time. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock Central Time. And thanks for hanging out, and be good.